Thanks. If you'll allow me to, I'd like to just continue from the piano. I feel like a lot of my success was in California, and I've always been grateful to California. I was there for 21 years, and I made a lot of friends, and probably made some history at one point during my life by being probably the first person to move from California to New York. A lot of people just thought that was just crazy ass shit, you know. But anyway, I've never regretted it, because on the West Coast, I never really felt quite at home. I was lost between rock and roll, and I sort of wanted to be that, but they didn't want me. And the older generation, they thought I was a little too far out there, really, for them, even though I landed a few nice records with Mr. Sinatra, who I always call Mr. Sinatra. I met him when I was about 19, and I called him Mr. Sinatra because he was Mr. Sinatra. And then when I got into my 30s, and I kept calling him Mr. Sinatra because I didn't want to end up in a dumpster up on the Pelham Park. And I was straddling these worlds, really. I loved Rosemary Clooney, and I'm proud to say that. You can say you climbed Mount Everest, but I can say I wrote a song for Rosemary Clooney. So I love Stan Kenton. I met him when I was on the Grammy board, and Maynard Ferguson. I loved all those guys. Miles Davis and Bill Evans was my favorite piano player. I'm going to try to keep this brief because I'm trying to get to something here, really. My first time I ever played New York was in 1971, and I played The Bitter End in the Village in August. And there was no air conditioning in the basement at The Bitter End. Any of you, I can see a couple of hands up out there. I mean, you talk about hell on earth. Man, that's right there. And I did 2 shows a night there, and I would sneak across to the Village Gate, and there was a little Village Vanguard, I'm sorry. And then there was a little club on top called Top of the Village Vanguard, and Bill Evans was playing there. And I could see most of his set between my first show and my second show. I was in hog heaven. I was playing New York and listening to Bill Evans. And then I seemed to find a place where people liked what I did, and I got to play for people without any of the, the razzmatazz of the record tour and the roadies and the not so much the drugs and the whatever, but the proximity to people, like I'm close to you right now. I took to like a fish to water. And I did largely because I could get away with murder, like a small group of people, and I found out that they would play with me. They would play the game with me, And I would get up there and say, I could just play hit after hit after hit after hit after hit, and they would laugh, And very quickly, I want you to know what my lineage is in New York. I started playing at Jan Wallman's, which had about 60 people. And then I went from Wallman's to the Algonquin, and I played the Algonquin until they messed it up. And then I played the ballroom when Blossom Dearie was at the ballroom. Really fantastic. I loved it. Now, I'm falling in love with this while I'm telling you about it. It made me feel so good that each one of these venues was like a home to me. And I eventually played, after the ballroom, I went to the Regency, Feinstein's at the Regency. I played the Cutting Room quite a bit. I played every artist's favorite gig in New York was the Bottom Line, I have to tell you. It was the worst dressing room. There was a toilet in the dressing room, the Bottom Line, you know, literally, you know. But everybody loved that. There was a bar in the showroom, which was like cooler than hell, you know, because everybody was just happy, and I loved it so much. And then the Regency, and more recently, the last few years, I've been playing for some wonderful people at the City Winery. So I really do have this. People don't know me so much as a performer, but I have played thousands of shows, thousands of them. And I always do them just like this, just like I'm doing this. I'm going to do a song for you just to show you how grateful I am for this award, and for the warmth, and for the home that cabaret gave me in this town, a place where I could do what I wanted to do, and it made people happy, and I could be successful at it. And this song is a song that Judy Collins found sort of lying in a ditch somewhere. She's like the fairy godmother of lost and forsaken songs. She found this song, and she called me up and she said, "I love this song." I said, "Well, I said, "That song is, you know, no one wanted to do that." She said, I want to do it. And she took it to Arif Martin over at Atlantic Records. And Arif was known for those very punchy horn sounds for the Stax Bolt thing, Otis Redding and Aretha Franklin and all that. But he did a beautiful string quartet arrangement. It was a surprise of my life. I never thought that's what I would hear of this song, which may be a little bit off the beaten path. But it's what I feel like sharing with you tonight. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, not just for this award, but thank you for this medium, this intimate, irreplaceable medium, because believe me, Madison Square Garden doesn't even come close. Not even. See her how she flies, golden sail across the skies, close enough to touch, careful if you try, though she looks as warm as gold. The moon's a harsh mistress. The moon can be so cold. Moon can be so cold. Once the sun did shine, good Lord, it felt so fine. The moon of phantom rose from the mountains and the pines, and then the darkness fell, and the moon's a harsh mistress. It is hard to love her. It is hard to love her well. Fell out of her eyes, fell out of her heart. I fell down on my face, yes I did, and I tripped and I missed my start. I fell and I fell alone, and the moon's a harsh mistress, and the sky is made of stone. The moon's a harsh mistress, yes she is. She's hard to call.